Don't be nervous. We're just chilling. We're good. There you go. Now you got it.
Good evening. My name is Cher, a long-term resident and Granada High alumni. As we approach the school board elections, I have struggled with the thought of one candidate in particular representing the students and the community. It is extremely painful for me to publicly talk about my experience, but I feel it is important enough for everyone to know my story. Christiaan VandenHeuvel claims to be a champion of family, church, and school values, as well as a special needs advocate. But I know firsthand that couldn't be further from the truth. As someone who's struggled my whole life with Tourette's syndrome, I have had to live with the pain of being discriminated by Christiaan VandenHeuvel himself. He has told me to my face that I didn't fit the image in his church, a place where I thought I would be most inclusive and accepting. His reasoning was that I would make the church and the community and the church uncomfortable. Worse, I was publicly humiliated when he proceeded to kick me out of a Sunday service at Cornerstone Fellowship in 2015. From that moment, I've had to live with extreme depression and many years of pain from an adult I really respected. I not only felt hurt and shame, but also confused because I thought that he was someone who was looking out for my best interest. He claimed to be somebody to care about all people. His actions were devastating, inappropriate, and hypocritical. I have really come a long way in my life to feel the courage to ask the district and the current board in this type of representation, is this what we want for our schools? Will he really ensure the safety and inclusivity and equality for our students and faculty and parents? I am living proof his actions show otherwise. As a pastor, he showed favoritism and discrimination. This makes me and the special needs community question what he will do when faced with budget cuts and the special needs programs are on the line. How will he prioritize the true needs of students over his ego and his own self-interest? If you want safe, inclusive schools, I urge you, do not elect Christiaan VandenHeuvel. His words and actions do not align. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll invite Jeff up. And then on deck, we'll have Nancy Crisp.
Good evening, board members.
Oh, sorry, hang on just a second.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to ask one thing of the folks in the crowd, and I know that we get behind it, but I've been in these meetings for a long time. It's really hard to speak in public if you haven't done so before. It's really hard. And it creates a lot of anxiety for people because on the flip side of people clapping, people may not approve of you. And so if you agree with who the speaker is, maybe just put your hand up so it's more of a silent thing. I know sometimes it's hard to, because we're involved in it. It's just a request. I'm not telling you what to do, but it's just a request because it's really, really difficult to get the courage to come up here and speak. And so that emotion behind you sometimes prevents people from coming up. That's all.
All right, thank you.
Anyway,
ahead,
I'm
Jeff.
Jeff, and good evening, school board members, President Prusso, Superintendent Gibson. I'm here to support and defend our friend and sister who many of us have come to both love and know quite well. She was clearly a victim of harassment. When we met her, she was traumatically affected by extremely hurtful and humiliating words by Christiaan VandenHeuvel of Cornerstone Fellowship Church. Since the Independence newspaper discriminately and obviously biased chooses to keep the truth out about the Board of Education endorsed candidates, we must come in this and state these truthful characteristics of individuals that certainly should not represent our parents and most especially our children. For the life of me, as I am still struggling with anyone who claims to be a Christ follower, let alone a pastor of children's ministry at a local church, and would have the audacity to verbally abuse and tear down anyone, I share this because this type of talk and behavior is bullying. Bullying words along with verbal, mental attacks is destructive toward anyone. I am very aware of these tactics and behaviors, and I'm putting Christiaan VandenHeuvel on notice. How can anyone even consider this man a candidate for any leadership? He clearly is not clearly not for the protection of our children and is the real wolf in sheep's clothing. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll invite Nancy. Do I have Nancy? Nancy Crisp. Okay. And then on deck, we'll have Catherine. I just have a first name on that. Nancy, can you pull that down and then push a button at the bottom? There you go. Go
I've
ahead.
gotten to know Cher through my church, but she also happens to have met my daughter through Las Positas College. My daughter has mild cerebral palsy and learning disabilities, and she worked very hard to get certified in child care through Chabot College, and she worked for quite a few years for a woman running for mayor in Tracy until she got in an auto accident and couldn't continue. But she has mild cerebral palsy and did very well in child care. And people with disabilities are valuable, and they can be loving and kind, as is Cher. And it kills me that this girl was hurt so badly that it took our church and people who love her to rehabilitate her and make her feel valued and cared for again. And I can't believe somebody that's running for the school board feels that he has the right to be on the school board. We don't know what's in his head and what he could do to hurt other people with disabilities or where he would go, but he does not belong on the school board. Why would he even think that he could hurt this person? It frightens me that he could have that kind of power. And I want people to think very seriously why he thinks he's qualified to hold that position, really. And that's what I want to say, because I wouldn't want my daughter hurt the way this girl was hurt. Her self-esteem was really low until she came to us. And I thank God she's with us now. She's a wonderful person. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to invite Catherine. Oh, welcome, Catherine.
I have a friend who was taken away from a volunteer position at Junction School, and I think it was done wrongly, like an opponent for the school board election notified. I don't know who, if it was here or a superintendent of schools, but just because her son didn't go there anymore and they're shorthanded, and the person that had her taken away from that volunteer position did not even volunteer to take her place, whereas she has 2 sons that go to that school. And I was just thinking that maybe there could be something done about that they would accept volunteers on a more kind basis. And also, I think that the same person has no business making fun of my friend for being short. And I think that's not a qualification for being on the school board. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That concludes our correspondence, our public comment, and we're just going to move into our correspondence.